Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. It is the first of the month, which means it is Scrapbook Kit building time over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge. And we all take turns picking a month and hosting the activities and the kit for that month. And May is my month. So I chose this kit by DLS Design. It is actually a scrapbook company from the Netherlands. So unless you're in Europe, you may not even know about this company. And they offer collections, and within those collections, they have a subset of products that they put into kits. And this collection is called Timeless, and so this is the Document Life Stories scrap kit called Timeless. And this is a bit of a small picture. I did open it up a bit larger here. And this first paper with these bold geometric circles, I fell in love with the instant I saw this kit, and I knew this was the one I wanted to choose. Now, I'm not normally a red person or a bold color person, but with the distribution of softer colors with the bolder colors set against a white background and my love of geometric shapes, I thought this kit was fantastic. Now, this is a very poor quality image, and it was actually the only image I could find of the complete kit. So we're going to go and look at things just a little bit more closely. This is the full collection of pieces. So if you want even more inspiration, like if you want to add in some washi tape, I think there was even like a wax seal was in this collection. So if you wanted even more ideas to stretch your kit further, I will go ahead and look at the full collection. I will leave you links both to the individual kit and the full collection in the notes below. But let's take a look at what was intended to be in just this kit. There we go. I did grab screenshots of as many of the pieces as I could find images for. Like this pattern paper was hard to find an image for, as well as this pattern paper. But I found little pieces of it, and I threw them together in this compilation photo. But let's go ahead and take a look at them individually. So here is not only the A side, but the B side, which you definitely don't get to see in the full kit image. And so I wanted to make sure you were able to see the B sides as well. And like I said, I adore this paper. And here is a bit, it kind of reminds me of dandelions or maybe fireworks. So there's that one. The house icons. And notice this is kind of a text print, a tone-on-tone text print for the B side. Oh, these pears, again, this very graphic, bold style, yet balanced with softer colors against white. So good. It's so good. And then we've got a red kind of check print back there. Here is a smaller version of that bathroom supply. I don't have a B-side for that one because I couldn't find it. Here's a lovely book print and a beautiful white diagonal stripe. And then this is a similar print to one of the papers in our April kit. I can imagine some people might want to skip that print. And then this is a little star pattern paper. That is super cute. Here again is one of those prints that I couldn't find a good view of. So I took a sliver of a screenshot. And this one has some of the more icons that are included in the embellishments, which we'll get to, which are a few florals, moths, and a few other things. And then this scallop print was one of the patterns included in the main kit image. And then this is actually technically the B side of that paper. So lots of teals, yellows, reds. If you want to include pink, there's pink there, but you can totally ignore the pink as well because look at the boldness of this color. You could totally get away with no pink in a kit if you don't like pink. Okay, let's move on to the embellishments. Again, I just love some of the icons going on here. So the houseplants, this little scribbly embellishment piece, I thought that was very different and interesting. Books, drinks that could be spanning the season from fall to summer to winter, depending on what time of year it is. I know some of our ladies are in the Southern Hemisphere, so they've got the opposite seasons from us. Love the lantern. Let's keep looking. So there were even some more icons that could be seasonal, like candied apples and acorns and oak leaves. So you can pick and choose what's going to work for you. Not heavily floral, but definitely foliage. All right, and then we've got some puffy stickers and hearts and stars. Oh, I had to pop back in here because I missed opening this image, which is the enamel dot. So this is in addition to the embellishments, and this has the full color palette that you see in this collection. And we have some word phrase stickers in the range of colors. And this is actually an alphabet stamp, so it includes some alphabets, however you choose to incorporate those, and then a set of alphabet stickers. Again, very heavy on the teal color palette here. So that is the overall kit. I'm going to make myself a few little notes, and then I will go down to my scrap space and incorporate a bunch of these things that I found very inspiring. All right, I've been squirreling away paper since I chose this kit and trying to come up with a collection. I did make myself some notes. I also did print out that compilation graphic just because I'm finding it's harder for me to think unless it's right in front of my face. So anyway, I'm going to refer to that as we go. I pulled out a whole bunch of circular prints that could represent that first pattern paper. And these were some alternative options. I've got some vellum, I got some really geographic print, and then that top paper there was one that I designed. So there are lots of options. I was surprised that I found so many options. Now, I really like this print from Chamel, and I thought that would be my starting point for this kit, even though it includes a whole bunch of other colors. But this Heidi Swap paper from, I think it's called Sun Chaser, I've had it in my collection for a while. I've loved it. I've used it. And, you know, looking at some of these other options, there were a lot of Vicki Boutin options, which should not have surprised me. And yet there were some even more prints that I had set off to the side as options. So I'm going to set all of that aside as I keep looking and deciding. This is a Carta Bella piece of paper, which really mimics the shape of the inspiration piece, but the colors aren't quite there. It includes deeper tones, more autumnal tones that are orangey and kind of brownish. And here's the example, and I'm just not sure about it, so I set it aside and I keep going. So all of my papers are collected by options to match up with the inspiration, and here are the house papers. Now this one has kind of similar tones to the Carta Bella paper. I'm not sure if that's a Simple Stories piece or not, but then I have a Vicki Boutin house print. And as I start looking at these papers side by side, I'm starting to think of a direction that I might go in. And I choose to kind of group these papers at this point together in their color tones as I keep working through and trying to decide. So the B side of this one was a text print, a tone-on-tone text print with teals. We'll talk more about the teals later. I chose two text prints that could go with it. This one is more minty rather than teal. And then I've got this bold yellow number print. And I decided I'm going to stick with that bold yellow number print because I like the boldness of it and I really like the pop of yellow that it's including. And since the inspiration was so much graphically pops of color, I am going to go with that yellow print. I guess I set it off to the side for now, but you'll see me choose that later. And then the pear print, I wish I had something similar to the kit, but this is the pear print that I have, and V-side works too, so that one is definitely going to stay in my kit. And the kind of the pieces that I'm setting off below are the ones that are more likely to be kept. All right, the B-side of the pear was a red plaid. I chose these two pieces. This top one is more pink, so that one won't stay, but the kind of check red that I have also has strawberries on the side, which I think goes well with the pears, so I'm going to keep that red check plaid. Not only is the color better, but the B-side could come up at some point also. Now, if you haven't seen my kit builds before, I don't usually choose based on the B-sides, but sometimes I will check them out, and that can be a tiebreaker, so to speak. All right, I skipped that piece of pattern paper that had kind of bottles and jars on it, and I've moved on to the book print. I have several pieces that have strips on it that kind of look like book prints, and then I have a Vicki Boutin book paper, and then this is a Pink Fresh Studio that has bookshelf with books on it. And I think as I'm looking, that's the direction I want to go because it is that bold and graphic, which I loved about the inspiration. Now there is a yellow diagonal stripe. I don't have a lot of diagonal stripes in my kit right now, and I'm really liking them. So I think I need to do a little bit of shopping to bolster up my stash so that I have some of these prints that I really like. I set aside some options, which we'll talk about later. Now here is a kind of a scribbly circular print in a multicolor. So I chose two options. I chose this leaf print in a multicolor, which goes with some of the embellishments. And then I chose a tone-on-tone pink print in a circular pattern. And so I'm trying to decide which one of those is going to work. I really thought I was going to go with the leaf print. But as I start narrowing this down, I decide that I want that Sun Chaser circle from Heidi Swapp. I'm keeping the Vicky Bouton house print. I am going to keep that kind of dandelion print, even though the colors aren't perfect, but I can make it work with other pieces in the kit. So here is where I'm really, my brain is setting into a groove of what is working and what is not. So I am taking the pieces that are really working for me. And as you can see, I'm adding them to this row of papers, which is really working. I keeping all of the book print, the red, things that I've said I know I want to keep so far. And then I am deciding between these two pieces. And looking at the prints that I have, I have lots of bolder prints, so I need to incorporate more smaller prints for layering and for matting and things like that. So the pink small polka dot is going to stay. These yellow stripes, I'm still deciding on, and you'll see me come back to that in my forgery on the 4th video, which will happen on the 4th. And that is why I choose to keep a piece of yellow cardstock in here, because I'm going to work with that in my forgery video. All right, I am feeling good about having some decisions made. And so as I work through the rest of these papers, it's going to be easier to kind of keep the decisions rolling. All right, so let's talk about teals. I pulled out several teal papers to see what I wanted to do. This one has a polka dot print on it already, which I could doodle on and add some stars to it because I really liked that star inspiration. Plus, the teal could be used for some of the other teal prints in there. So deciding, do I want just solid teal cardstock that I can do something with, or this polka dot that I could add extra doodles to? And what do I decide? I'm trying to remember. Sometimes I film videos. I guess I'm keeping the polka dot print. All right. Sometimes I film videos way ahead of doing voiceovers, and I don't always remember what I've got going on. All right. So the next print was the icons with flowers and moths, and I didn't have both in a single paper. So I pulled out some moth papers and I pulled out a floral paper. And as soon as I see my choices, I instantly know I want that particular moth print because the colors work beautifully. And then I've got these final teal pieces, and I pull out one piece that has some shape to it that could work with the kit, even though it's a different color. And then I pull out some teal pieces that have the color to them, but not the shape, and try to decide where I want to go with that. And as I'm scooching my papers around, I will add things into kind of their places. And this is showing off how some of that color, even though it's a dusty pink, it does match the circle print at the beginning and the smaller pink circle print there towards the end. All right, it looks like I have chosen to keep that print as well as one teal so that I have some options there. And again, those are both prints that can be great for layering. Now I'm thinking about that alphabet print, and if I want to keep more of that teal in this collection, and some of this will come up again on my forgery on the 4th video. So it looks like I decide to keep the polka dot print instead of the yellow cardstock, and I'm going to set the cardstocks aside for working on later. Now I did pull out a selection of multicolored prints because I always like to have good multicolors to tie the whole collection together, but I have a couple of prints in here with the books and the original circles, so that will work for doing that. All right, that finishes up my papers. Let's move on to embellishments. I like the phrase sticker, and I have this piece of Pink Fresh that could go with the other Pink Fresh pieces that I put in my kit, and I can cut it apart. I also have a Tim Holtz white phrase stickers that I could colorize with markers or whatever, and so I go ahead and add that to my kit. What else have we got? We've got some stars and hearts and enamel dots, So I did go out and pull just kind of a collection of things from my stash. I've got a few heart enamels as well as random star bits and pieces. Now, some of the colors may not work there, but I will just use what I can of these selections. All right, we've got some alphabets. So I am going to not use a stamp. I did really think about it. Since my titling process has felt very slow lately with fiddling around with die cuts and glue and things, I did think about trying some stamping. I'm just not sure I'm ready to go there because I'm not sure it will be any faster. At any rate, I choose a few alphabets, and then I have some more Pink Fresh Studio embellishments that have some of the icons that will work. There was cinnamon sticks in there, there were moths in there, some fruit in there that go along with the icons, even though the colors in this one aren't totally there. There was some red. Oh, I missed one of my alphabet sets. I'm carrying that over from last month's kit. And then I have a few more cut aparts that have some icons that could work, some Vicky Bouton, and here's some Pink Fresh Studio cut aparts that are partially used, so I think those can work in here. The other thing I wanted to use more of in my kits lately is washi tape, especially since there was some washi in that larger collection. I'm going to include that as well. So that wraps up my main kit. I will be working on doing my forgery, so I hope you will come back on the 4th for that. I have so many ideas that I need to narrow it down, so by the time you come back on the 4th, I will have that figured out. All right, thanks so much for being here, and until the 4th, I hope you have an artful day.